them up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
And it is the basketball show for the basketball fan. Welcome back to another edition of Open Gym. It's the final day of the NBA regular season. Lots of games in the West. We're going to be handled today to determine seeding before we play games in the play-in round and start the NBA playoffs. RJ Saunders here with you, and we have royalty in the house with JJ LaSelva.
Hello.
The weekend warrior.
Welcome.
Absolutely.
Well,
man.
I guess you're welcoming me.
Well,
to your
we're
show.
welcoming each other. We're welcoming each other to the show. I mean, you did this one time before, but it's always great to have JJ.
It's been a long time, but today is a very important day in the NBA world.
It
Not just the
absolutely
Masters
is.
world. This is a double screen day, folks.
Absolutely.
Triple screen. if you're a
Make
baseball
sure
fan.
to catch up on all the latest, and we'll talk about it right here on the Superstation. As always, we greatly appreciate you taking a moment out of your time on Sunday to talk a little round ball with us in the 904. Your way on to the show, as always, the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosure 641-1010, or on our digital studios on our various social channels in which we air our programs. You know, we have a question of the day each and every week. This one: who has the greatest signature move in NBA history? I mean, you got the Dirk one-legged fade, you got the AI cross, the Jordan fadeaway, Kareem sky hook, Tim Duncan's bank shot. Got into the Hall of Fame with one move. Now, I know Tim Duncan was a lot better than that, but I mean, listen, a patented bank shot. This man getting into the Hall of Fame with that. Greatest signature move of all time. Let us know. 641-1010.
What about the sky hook?
The sky hook?
Kareem sky hook.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Hey, he led the league all time in scoring because of that sky hook. Probably the most unstoppable shot in NBA
I mean,
history.
my dad used to pull that one on me out front, like constantly. Just anyone who you have height over, if you can make that, it's unstoppable.
It's been crazy that nobody's been able to duplicate that shot.
Did they just not try?
I don't think the big men want to try to duplicate.
Yeah. Because it looks silly, especially when
silly.
you don't make it. It's very old looking.
Right.
But, hey, if you can make it work even nowadays,
40,
I'd
the
love
man
to
got
see
40, what 38,000 points?
like Zach Edey do that.
Zach Edey. I mean, listen, a 20-year career. If you could master the sky hook, let us know. The greatest signature move in NBA history, 641-1010. So the NBA is going to give out their season awards in a couple of weeks. Who's going to be the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, etc. I want to know from you guys, who's the most disappointing team this season in the NBA? I have three that I've thought about. I think for time, we'll only talk about two. But the first team in which I've thought about that would get an award for me, an honorable mention award, don't know who would win it, but in terms of a disappointing season, would be that of the Philadelphia 76ers. I feel like this season for them, it's not like what Orlando's was, and I don't know if we call Orlando's a wash entirely, but injuries did affect them. But the Philadelphia 76ers, when you have NBA Twitter asking who's going to stop this bunch, and you have people quote tweeting and has arrows pointing at Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid's knees, saying that that's going to stop the NBA season, that's going to stop their NBA season. I've been trying to fight it back and forth. I think we can honestly say the process is over. Now, we've had Keith Pompey on the show, who covers the Philadelphia 76ers and has for a long time, and he says that the process has been over a long time ago. But I just thought that you could make several iterations of, quote, the process with Joel Embiid, and the Philadelphia 76ers have, with different variations of coaches and players. You started this out with Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons. Now, Markelle Fultz was struggling with his shoulder, wasn't able to figure his jump shot out. I don't know if somebody said he needed to change it or if there were issues with his shoulder where he couldn't lift his arm all the way up anymore. So that's why he had to make the change, but doesn't work out. Then you say, okay, we'll have a dynamic duo of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And everybody's thinking that Ben Simmons is the next coming of LeBron James. And if he figures out a jump shot, he'll probably be one of the most unstoppable forces this league has ever seen in quite some time, maybe even since that of LeBron James. Simmons now, his back is shot. He can't play. He had that head scratching moment in the playoffs. You remember that? I think it was against Atlanta. He's 2 feet away from the basket. He decides to pass the ball. Demands a trade, and through that time, you have Joel Embiid still trying to carry the load. He had a great game against Victor Wembanyama, welcoming him to the league with 71 points. You then have that trade for James Harden, and you're thinking that you have something there, but James wanted the max. And he thought that there was a handshake agreement between he and Daryl Morey that, listen, you come to Philadelphia, I'll give you the max deal. Apparently, others in management said that's not what is going to happen. We saw how that ended. James Harden's in China and says, I want to say this in front of the cameras as they're recording. Daryl Morey is a liar. He decides to go to the LA Clippers. So now you have this young stud in Tyrese Maxey, who I certainly like, and he and Joel Embiid have been able to do damage together when they're both healthy. You bring in a guy like Paul George, who still has his moments. This isn't a Paul George that's who we remember, that guy from Indiana. That's no longer the case in which we have now with Paul George, but he can still get you 26 on any given night. And now the only reason why I feel individuals in Philadelphia would say that this season's a complete wash is because you're deciding to sit all 3 of your marquee players out because you want to keep your top 6 protected pick. Because I think if it falls out of the top 6, that pick goes to OKC, which Lord knows OKC needs more picks to hoard. How about you give them out to the rest of the league? Why don't you? But with them being so disappointing, here's one question that I do have. Is it time for Philly to start the consideration of trading Joel Embiid? I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying, do you consider? Because we're seeing a lot of this now with players, aren't we? Teams saying that they can no longer build around this guy anymore. There's questions about the Taylor Jenkins firing in Memphis. And should the question be now, can the Memphis Grizzlies build a team around Ja Morant? Can you build around Ja Morant as your best player on your team, or do they consider trading him? For whatever stupid reason, and I think guys like myself and guys like JJ LaSilva are still trying to figure out, Dallas said, we can't build around Luka Doncic. And you got your head busted in for 45 in Luka's return game against the Mavericks. I think with Joel Embiid, I think you probably squeezed everything you can out of said process. And I could be completely wrong here. They could all come back next season, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, as well as Joel Embiid, be a top 4 or 5 seed, be a team that you say, hey, they match up the best with the Boston Celtics, or they could give the Cleveland Cavaliers a run for their money if Cleveland decides to continue at the rate in which they're going. But it makes you wonder, why didn't someone get in the fray with Joel Embiid and say, maybe it's best if you don't play the Olympics? If you are injured, if you are dealing with knee trouble, I think winning an NBA championship at this point for the city of Philadelphia is probably more important than playing out there with a gold medal. Ty Lue got in the way with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi was supposed to be on that team. Said, I think it's more important that he plays in the regular season for the LA Clippers than it is trying to power through injuries to play in the Olympics. And then that harbors us in the regular season for the Los Angeles Clippers, a team that he plays for year in and year out. But let's talk about Dallas just for a second, because we've spoken about it before, and I'll say it again. You don't trade 25-year-old supernovas. I think Jerry Buss said it best when it came to that of Kobe Bryant. I'm not going to trade one priceless diamond to get 2 or 3 pretty good diamonds. So I'll trade Shaq and I'll start over. And we'll keep trying to make iteration after iteration until we can't make any anymore. Then we'll trade them. You get everything you can out of Hall of Fame players. Whatever Nico Harrison and the Mavericks have learned from this week after seeing Luka Doncic in a Laker uniform and seeing how the fans reacted, both Dallas Maverick fans and Laker fans alike, this could have been your LeBron, a guy who's year 22 and he's still dominating the league. And something just feels like there hasn't been said yet. I don't feel like we have gotten a clear-cut answer as to why they made the trade. We hear he's out of shape. We think he's going to fade in the next 3 to 5 years. Still a wild concept to think about when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. You have Barkley say in the short term, Dallas is going to be the better team. Now, we have to put an asterisk by that. With Kyrie Irving out for the rest of the season, Anthony Davis wasn't able to play for a portion of the season when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, had a core injury. How about Klay Thompson? I mean, he went to Dallas and thought that he was going to win an NBA championship with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and now he may be just collecting the final half of his NBA checks and just ride off into the sunset. But now you're asking yourself, in a small window with the Mavericks, to win an NBA championship, and all of your marquee guys are 32, 33 plus, with I think Klay Thompson being that of 35. AD can give you 60 games a year, but he needs strong guard play. And Kyrie Irving, with his injury, you're assuming that this is going to be at least a 2-year injury, 1 year to rehab, to get back on the floor. The second half of the rehab is going to be that of just being able to trust that leg again. But he's had trouble with this leg and has still been phenomenal since Duke. Remember, he tears his ACL when he's in college, tore it again when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's why he wasn't in the NBA Finals in 2015. But we've still seen him do phenomenal things. But it's going to be tough getting up that hill if you're the Dallas Mavericks. You had a guy in Luka Doncic at 27. If it didn't work out between him and Kyrie, you could trade for another star. You could throw the bag at another superstar if push came to shove. You don't have that option anymore. It either has to work now or it doesn't work at all when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. The third team that I have is the Phoenix Suns. It seems like that team's going to blow up. Kevin Durant goes where? Does Bradley Beal get bought out? Devin Booker, does he want to stay in Phoenix? Are they all going to stay together and Brian Budenholzer's the one to go? We don't know the answer to that yet. But those are my 3 teams that are the most disappointing. If I could give a most disappointing team of the year award, those would be the 3 candidates. But I'd love to hear from you. Who are your most disappointed teams or disappointing teams of the NBA regular season in the NBA? 641-1010. And while we're at it, give us the team you've been most surprised by this NBA season. I mean, look at the Detroit Pistons, 14 wins a year ago, and now they're in the NBA playoffs and probably could win a first-round series against the New York Knicks if everything fleshes out the way we think it's going to flesh out after today, and that becomes their first-round matchup. But When we come back, the Orlando Magic, trying to make the NBA playoffs, are going to have to do it via the play-in. They have 2 opportunities to win 1 game to make the NBA playoffs. Ryan the Hacker Green breaks that down for us right here on Open Gym.
Perfect passes.
Great pass.
Thrilling moments.
Did that just happen?
Winning plays.
Touchdown!
Your radio home for play-by-play. 1010XL.
Surf in the Summer Surf Camp is now registering for camps this summer. Get your kids out to the beach this summer. For registration and session dates, log on to surfinthesummer.com. Surf in the Summer, Jacksonville Beach's premier surf camp.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Join me, Max Fink, as I keep a close eye on everything that happens in Gator Nation.
The Gator Report, polished up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
Buying a home used to feel like a complete headache. Listings here, pre-approval there, financing somewhere else. Now, Rocket is giving every home one address. Rocket.com. A single, seamless homeownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and refinance your home. Everything you need, all under one roof. Visit Rocket.com, the new home for all things homeownership. Rocket, own the dream.
E.T. here, and it's time for the Taste of Golf at TPC Sawgrass, April 23rd. Join me for fine cuisine from chefs from the top golf clubs in our area. Craft cocktails, games, and unique auction items will be present. This is one of the most impactful charitable events in our area. Come network with a sophisticated audience who's passionate about golf and its values, while impacting the youth in our community. All proceeds benefit First Tee, North Florida. For tickets, go to tasteofgolf.com. Come on, somebody.
Jacksonville's summer heat is coming in fast. Is your AC ready to handle it? Or will it quit on you on the hottest day of the year, leaving you sweating and stuck with a huge repair bill? Duck Duck Air Conditioning is here to save the day with a free AC system inspection. Our expert techs will make recommendations to ensure your AC system is running in tip-top shape before the heat arrives. Call now, 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, duckduckac.com. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Our next guest is on a slew of programs here on the Superstation, whether that be on our social media channels or with his own show that we all love, titled Hacker After Dark. Ryan the Hacker Green joins us now to speak on your Orlando Magic, who have clinched the 7th seed, also played today against the Atlanta Hawks, and will potentially face them again on Tuesday as the Magic try to make the NBA playoffs yet again. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Ryan Green 1010XL. Hack, how are you, man?
RJ, how are you, buddy?
Good, and appreciate you for taking out the time to be on the program with us. Now, there were high hopes for the Orlando Magic this season, but we saw the injury bug hit them completely. We witnessed how much that would hurt them, but they're here. They're the 7th seed. They have an opportunity to close things out tonight. I don't know how many individuals are going to play tonight with that 7th seed clinched, but you do have an opportunity on Tuesday to make the playoffs and face the Boston Celtics in the first round. But for you, how would you describe the Orlando Magic season this year?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I heard your opening segment about disappointing teams in the league. And on the surface, yeah, it's disappointing when you're a 5 seed last year and you win 47 games and then falling to a 7 seed and winning either 41 or 42, depending on what happens today. But the Magic, for the most part, at least the last 3-4 months of last season, were a pretty healthy basketball team for the most part. They have been decimated by injuries this year. And for that team last year that won 47 games, we all thought was on the brink of becoming a contender,
Right.
to now only winning, 5 fewer games than that amidst all the injuries of this year, I'm almost questioning if the Magic are disappointing. Again, I know I talked with you about this on Friday. If you were to tell me back in October that Banchero, both Wagners, and Jalen Suggs combined were going to miss over 175 games this year, I don't know if I would think we were over 500 at the end of the regular season. So from that standpoint, I'm not sure how disappointing it can really be.
Now, games are strategic, and we see it in basketball all the time. And the question I'm going to ask is going to be just due to seeding and maybe where you want to be. But I don't want to test the fates here, but if you win on Tuesday, you're going to face the Boston Celtics in the first round. If you lose and then you win the second game, you'll be facing the Cleveland Cavaliers, who you took to 7 games last year in the NBA playoffs. Both teams are going to be a tough out. But do you feel Orlando matches up better against one or the other?
I have no false hope about winning a 7-game series against Cleveland or Boston. I would love for that to happen, but let's be realistic here. I actually think that Orlando is one of the better teams in the NBA to match up with Boston. Orlando has had some success against the Celtics in the last couple of years. Again, do I expect Orlando to beat Boston in a 7-game series? No.
Right.
But I think Orlando could win a game, maybe 2. Same thing with Cleveland. Maybe they match up a tad better with Cleveland, but again, Cleveland wiped the floor with them 3 out of 4 times this year, although Orlando did beat them a couple of weeks ago up in Cleveland. So I don't know if it matters too much, RJ, to be honest. I'm just hoping to get in. If you don't get in, if you have 2 home games and you lose both of them in the play-in, that's a disaster.
Yes.
At that point, that's a failure. That's a disappointment. If Orlando gets in and then wins a game or 2 in the opening round, I think the season becomes kind of a wash at that point.
Absolutely. Continuing our conversation with the host of Hacker After Dark, Ryan the Hacker Green, joining us here on Open Gym. Paolo Banchero seemed he was going to have a season that was going to be earth-shattering for the rest of the league, and he went out with that oblique injury. However, he has come back, and the number he has put on the league, it seems like it's sending a message, maybe a little reminder that this would be coming to everybody's doorstep had I played all 82 games. With the records in which he breaks or the list of stars that he associates with when he is achieving certain accolades. Is it time for the NBA to look at this guy as a top 12, top 15 player in the league?
No, there's no question. I mean, tell me 10 better players than Paolo Banchero in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks of this season. You won't find them. He was off to a great start in the first week, but people forget he got hurt on Halloween. I mean, he got hurt 5 games into the year,
right,
and then he basically misses 2.5 to 3 months. I mean, he missed, 30 games roughly. And then when he came back, RJ, and you and I had many heart-to-hearts about this,
right,
it was bad. I mean, he had to work himself back into shape. He was obviously rusty. It took a good couple of weeks at least for Paolo to get back to what we kind of remembered him as. But really since, I would say, late February, early March, he has been an absolute stud, man. He's been a beast. I mean, he's scoring 25, 30, 35 points a game. He had one game where he had 33 points and 18 rebounds. Franz Wagner has also played pretty well since he also came back from a prolonged injury. So that's what gives me hope that at least in the first round, if the Magic get in against Cleveland or Boston, that it wouldn't be embarrassing. I don't think Orlando gets crushed in a 4-game sweep. Again, they might only win 1 game, but I think Franz and Paolo, if you're Boston or Cleveland, you'll beat Orlando, but you work your tail off to get the first or second seed, and you got to see Franz and Paolo in round 1. That's a little interesting.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to ask you this question. When it comes to Paolo, it also comes to Franz, and you also speak on Jalen Suggs. If the Magic are able to get their full allotment of players and have a better bill of health than they had this season, are the Magic a top 4 seed once again in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, I think so. I mean, that's what's so frustrating about this year. You look at Suggs, Banchero, and Franz, the big 3 in Orlando. I literally think they played like 8 games together the entire season. because Paolo got hurt in Game 6, missed 3 months. Suggs was then injured by the time Paolo came back. Then Suggs came back for a game or two, got injured again, and didn't come back the entire year. So you're talking, say, 10% of the year we actually saw the big three on the court together, which is unbelievably frustrating. But that goes back to what I said. That didn't happen basically the entire year, and Orlando is still a 41-42 regular season win team. So I would love to see, we kind of got robbed of it. I would love to see what this team looked like if they were healthy. Hopefully we'll get that opportunity next season.
Continuing our conversation with Ryan the Hacker Green, host of Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Make sure to follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. Ryan Green at 1010XL. So we're in draft mode here in the NFL, and you always hear analysts giving their biggest team need for every team. Once we get to the NBA draft or even free agency for that matter, you being the Orlando Magic analyst, what's the Magic's biggest need?
No, they got to get some shooting. It's been shooting for the longest time. There have been times this year where it has been better than last season, but RJ, there's also been times where it's actually been considerably worse than last season. Gary Harris, KCP, Caleb Houston, Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva. I mean, good players, but they don't have the one go-to guy outside of Paolo, Franz, and Suggs. And you got to get more shooting on this team. I think maybe some better play in the backcourt as well, although I do like the way Anthony Black is coming on. Man, maybe I'm a creature of the moment here, but the Magic have 2 first-round picks. They have Denver's first-rounder, so I think they'd have like 16 and 23 if the draft were today. I would sign up for Walter Clayton Jr. right now for one of those picks. He would certainly fill a need for the Orlando Magic, no doubt about that. That would be unbelievable if Orlando could pull that off.
Now, wanted to ask you this. I understand it's been a couple of weeks since the announcement was made, but Dwight Howard gets the nod to go into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Phenomenal time with the Magic. He takes them to the NBA Finals in 2009. Just for you, where does he stand in the lore of Orlando Magic basketball?
Oh, he's on the Mount Rushmore. I would say your Mount Rushmore of Orlando Magic players, Shaq Penny, Dwight Howard, Tracy McGrady would be my guess. Talk to me in a year or two, because at that point maybe Paolo and or Franz will have an argument. But I think if you ask almost any Orlando Magic fan, there have been some really other good ones, like Darrell Armstrong of that Heart and Soul team, Nick Anderson, the first ever draft pick in franchise history. But I think at the end of the day, if you talk about the 4 best Magic players and whatever definition you want to use, best, most marketable, most popular, whatever, I think it still comes back to Shaq Penny, Tracy McGrady, and certainly Dwight Howard.
Now, I've been trying to answer this question for a long, long time now. Do we know who's the 5th best Magic player of all time? I understand Paolo's going to get there. I think Paolo has the spot coming up through the ranks. But, I think of guys like Hedo Turkoglu in that 5th spot. You bring up Darrell Armstrong. You bring up Nick Anderson. Like, who's the 5th Magic player? If the Mount Rushmore is that of T-Mac, Shaq, Dwight, and Penny, do we have a 5th that we say locks up that spot?
Yeah, I think the guys you just named, I think there would be an argument, maybe not Darrell Armstrong, although I just love the way he played. But I think Nick Anderson, not only what Nick meant on the court, but obviously what he's meant in the community following his career. And then, Hedo Turkoglu is just outstanding. He was unbelievable for a couple of years there, including that 2009 finals run. I think those would probably be the 2. You could maybe argue Jameer Nelson as well. I think he would be a guy that could, deserve some consideration. But, yeah, if you go after Shaq Penny, Dwight Howard, and Tracy McGrady, I think probably Nick Anderson or Hedo Turkoglu would be the next guy.
He is Ryan the Hacker Green, our Orlando Magic insider, as well as host of Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, talking a little bit of Magic with us here on Open Gym. Hack, thanks again. Playoff time will be here before we know it. Let's hope for all the best with the Orlando Magic and that they get into the playoffs and just give a team a great scare in the first round. Thanks again for coming on, Hack.
RJ, appreciate it, man. And looking forward to seeing you, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? 8 to 10 for you. I'll be in with for Rick, 6 to 8. You'll be in 8 to 10 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That'll be a lot of fun, pal.
Absolutely. There he goes, Ryan the Hacker Green. Yes, we will be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, filling in for Rick Ballou as he will be taking vacation. I'll fill in for Hacker's time slot from 8 to 10 on the Superstation. While Hacker was talking about Jameer Nelson possibly being that guy, well, great minds think alike. The 678 on the text line saying Jameer Nelson, that chubby MFer, the 5th best Magic player of all time. As it currently stands right now, because we understand Paolo Banchero is going to take that crown before we know it. When we come back, I mean, we'd love to probably have a one-on-one tournament in the NBA All-Star Game. At least that's been talked about across league circles and with hoop heads. But would you be interested in a more unique approach to the one-on-one tourney? Let's discuss that next, right here on Open Gym.
Now, a Masters update on 1010XL, brought to you by TopDressing.com and St. John's Middle School Athletic Association.
From the Augusta National Golf Club, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Masters. I'm Ted Emmerich. We have an electric final pairing in the final round. Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, two of the biggest stars in the game, two of the biggest bombers of all time. McIlroy leads alone at 12 under, DeChambeau at 10 under, 2 back, and Rory knows what the scene will be like in about 3 hours.
It's amazing to have the support. These patrons and these galleries are a pleasure to play in front of each and every year we come back. They're some of the most knowledgeable golf patrons or spectators that we play in front of, and that final group's going to be a little rowdy and a little loud, and I'm just going to have to settle in and really try to keep myself in my own little bubble and keep my head down.
If McIlroy slips on the green jacket at the end of the day, he'll become just the 6th golfer to finish off the career Grand Slam and the first since Tiger Woods 25 years ago. You're listening to coverage of the 2025 Masters on Westwood One.
When I wake up,
the best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel all right.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When I wake up,
the best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I pull on my jeans and I feel all right.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Final round is underway at the 89th Masters. 59 degrees, another sun-splashed morning, and maybe the lightest winds of the week. Augusta National is not using its traditional Sunday hole location at 16. It is cut in the back right instead of back left, where players have always used the slope to try to make ace. Now they're putting it where it was in 1975. It is the 50th anniversary of Jack Nicklaus's thrilling victory. He made a 40-foot putt for birdie at 16 and held off Johnny Miller and Tom Weiskopf. Rory McIlroy, 12 under. Bryson DeChambeau, 10 under. They tee off at 2:30 Eastern. Corey Connors is at 8 under par. He and Patrick Reed go off at 2:20. Reed is 6 under, 6 back, along with Ludwig Oberg. Jason Day, Scotty Scheffler, Shane Lowry, and Justin Rose are 5 under. From Augusta, I'm Ted Emmerich, Westwood One Sports.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Now, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family, away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, ChadAndSandy.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here, and it's time to make those summer break plans. Clay County is calling. From paddleboarding on Doctors Lake to reeling in the big one on Black Creek or cruising the St. Johns River. There's no better place to dive into warm weather fun. Enjoy live music, local festivals, food trucks, and fireworks lighting up the night. Discover scenic parks, hidden trails, and must-visit local gyms. Your summer adventures start here. Visit exploreclay.com.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 15% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound and Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Breaking NBA news. The Portland Trail Blazers are agreeing to an extension with their head coach, Chauncey Billups. Blazers officials negotiated a new deal with his representation. It's going... The coach finished the final year of his guaranteed contract, had a .550 winning percentage since January 19th. The Portland Trail Blazers face, I don't know who's going to play for the LA Lakers today. They're resting everybody since clinching the 3 seed, so that's going to give guys like Luka, LeBron.
Bronny James will play.
Bronny James probably get heavy minutes. Guaranteed. Now, before we do get into this... this 1v1 tournament, I did want to ask JJ, so we don't know for certain because we still have one more day and seeding hasn't been set in stone yet, but I'm looking on NBA.com, and if the playoffs started today, we could see first round matchups between the Nuggets and the Clippers, the Lakers and the Warriors, the Pacers and the Bucks, and the Knicks and the Pistons. Does any one of those stand out to you where you would like to see that series?
Oh, yeah. So, obviously, a lot has to do with the game this afternoon between the Clippers and the Warriors.
Right.
But if it's the Warriors versus Lakers in first round, dude, I mean, that's going to get, like, the best first-round ratings of all time.
Probably.
Like, I cannot wait for that, especially after the game a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
I guess it was like a week and a half ago. I think it was a Thursday or Friday night where it was pretty neck and neck for most of the game, but the Warriors won it by maybe 10 or something.
Yeah.
Luka was terrible that night. I just feel like if Luka is anywhere around his average self, they'll probably be favored to win that series. But still, it's LeBron versus Steph. It's it's Warriors Lakers. It's Draymond versus LeBron. It's juicy. Both teams made massive trades in the in the last few, I guess, couple months. So, yeah, I would love to see that series. And then in the East, the East is so boring to me. It really is. Like I don't even really watch the Eastern Conference playoffs till the finals, honestly. But I think Detroit, New York will be fun just to think about the Knicks losing to the Pistons in the first round and the fallout that would come from that.
There would be a huge fallout, especially when you had the Knicks, a team that looks like they went all in this year with the acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns. And, of course, the Detroit Pistons being a team that had 14 wins last year and now have exceeded the 40-win count and now find themselves in the playoffs outright. Don't have to play in the play-in. Cade Cunningham, an all-star. You also have a great allotment of players. Who would have known that you just needed a competent head coach that you don't have to throw $100 million at?
Monty, right?
Threw $100 million at Monty Williams, let him go, and J.B. Bickerstaff, for the moment, seems to have righted the ship.
Well, would you rather see Clippers versus Lakers, which, by the way, I don't think has ever happened in the history of the playoffs.
We were supposed to have that in 2006 if Kobe and the Lakers didn't choke a 3-1 lead against Phoenix. We were supposed to have that, but Kobe and the Lakers choked that off. But I think that would be great for the city.
More as a,
I would love.
I mean, with not being a Laker fan, but what do you think is just the better series?
I would love Warriors-Lakers.
Okay.
I would love Warriors-Lakers for a 7-game series, although it does seem that
I think the Clippers have a better chance of beating the Lakers.
Listen, man, the Los Angeles Clippers all of a sudden have become a team that can hurt somebody's feelings in a first round, even a second round. Now, they're going to be in the bracket with that of OKC. If they were to beat Denver in the first round, could we be seeing the LA Clippers potentially in the Western Conference Finals if they
Kawhi's back.
Kawhi's
healthy for the first time in 8 years.
Right.
And I don't know how long it'll last, so they better take advantage of it now. Usually he's getting injured right around this point in the season when it matters most, and he's like sitting out playoff games.
Right.
But now he's peaking right at the perfect time. I think the Clippers are somebody to really be scared of if you're a Lakers fan.
Yeah, you better not sleep on. Yeah, you better not sleep on the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, they went from a team where I was saying, this is a team that's going to probably make it in the play-in. They'll probably have an early first round out to where now, I mean, after Denver fires Michael Malone, and it seems like there's rocky territory there.
Do you think that'll be like a plus for them, though?
It could be.
I saw some stuff out of the locker room after one of their more recent wins.
Right.
And the players are all in, which makes me think like, oh, maybe they really were tired of Michael Malone. Which I don't think they should have been fired. A guy won a freaking title 2 years ago. But just saying, we see this in all kinds of sports. The new manager bounce, the new coach bounce.
Yeah.
As they'll call it.
Yep.
And so maybe they're just going to be super motivated to prove that, hey, we can win without Michael Malone. He was bringing us down. So I don't know what to think about this team right now. Any team that fires their coach 5 days before the end of the season, anything could happen. I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
Absolutely. And I think according to reports, was not received well by Michael Malone getting the news that he was
I'm sure he
fired.
wasn't too happy about it.
Was not too happy about it. I think that was according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst. All right, I wasn't going to bring it up, but we have it on the text line, the 718. JJ and I were joking about it before we got on live on the Superstation. Do you have a comment about Isaiah Thomas going all get off my lawn? If you did not see what Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, bad boy Piston, NBA Hall of Famer, basically saying that LeBron should be fined for the fact that he went shirtless.
Yeah, so LeBron is warming up shirtless in a do-rag before Friday night's game.
Right.
0 people in the crowd.
Nobody in the crowd.
No one's there. Who knows how long this is before the game? It's not like when you see, this is right before the game. Yeah, exactly. If somebody who works in TV for a little bit, we do those shots like it could be hours before the game. And they do it right, they show it in the pregame. And Isaiah Thomas, quote, the professionalism in our NBA league has diminished so much.
We're not the Summer League.
By the way,
we're not the YMCA League.
The same man who choked Brendan Malone, an assistant coach at the time for the Pistons, Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
Dude, like the era, the older era, and their hate for LeBron knows no bounds.
No.
It's insane. And I get like everybody wants to, they love MJ. They've been propagandized to just glaze on MJ all the time. But you actually had a terrible relationship with MJ. Didn't they hate each other? Like, I guess not.
Apparently, Isaiah Thomas says, listen, when Michael Jordan first got to Chicago with Isaiah Thomas being a Chicago native, said, listen, man, we rolled out the red carpet for a guy like Michael Jordan. Had a nephew, apparently, that lived with MJ for a couple months. I think that he also said somebody in Isaiah Thomas's family was dating somebody in Jordan's family, so he says he doesn't understand where all the hate came from. He has spoken about that on numerous occasions, but we've talked about it really all season, just about the new era really not having respect for the older generation and the older generation not having any respect for the new generation.
Yeah, I would say it's much worse for the older guy. Like, dude, we see it in hockey. You know, they have, they had Wayne Gretzky going around and giving nothing but love to Alexander Ovechkin all week. You see it in baseball, like the older generation and the younger generation. The NBA, I don't know what the hell it is. These guys hate each other. The older guys can't stand the fact that I don't even know. They might be more athletic and better. I don't know what it is.
The game's not as physical as it used to be. But I mean, this is the game in which it is. And like we've had Kevin Garnett, and we've played a clip of that. Kevin Garnett says, "Listen, we have to look at this through a new lens. This is no longer the 90s." Although he understands that, listen, back in our era, you wouldn't be able to get to a thing called a triple step back. You wouldn't be able to shoot 10, 15, 18 threes. There would be an old head on our team, and I'll take an example like a guy like Sam Mitchell who played with Kevin Garnett. If you were going to shoot 18 threes, man, you better make 17. You need to start giving that ball up. As Kevin Garnett said, somebody would say, all right, now you shooting a little bit too much, man. So I understand that the eras are different when it comes to that, but Isaiah Thomas has always
telling
seemed
somebody to put a shirt on,
and maybe he had a shirt on. Maybe he had a shirt on beforehand. He got sweaty, decided to take the shirt off, and as JJ said beforehand, I mean, listen, there's nobody in the arena at that time, and I don't think LeBron
and even
James.
If there was, who's like clutching their pearls because they see a man with his shirt on, an athlete.
With the tattoos out?
You choked your coach on the sideline, bro. Like, and this is how you know Isaiah Thomas is in the wrong, because Skip Bayless was on Twitter defending him.
Wow. Wow.
When Skip is on your
side. When Skip is on LeBron's side.
No.
Oh, he was on Isaiah's
defending
side.
Isaiah. That's how you know Isaiah. You're on the wrong here. Like, anytime you're on the same side as Skip Bayless. You're on the wrong side of history, my friend. Sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, Isaiah Thomas just giving his opinion. I understand that Steve Smith also said, coaches should probably go back to wearing suits. It's just a different time in the NBA now. I don't think the old guys are going to like it. Listen, I was born in the 90s. I heard and I understand that we love the 90s era of basketball. I didn't see Jordan at his peak when he was with the Bulls. When I got to Jordan, I mean, he was coming out of retirement for the second time playing with the Wizards. We had the Kobes and the T-Macs and the VCs, and LeBron's in that era as well. It's definitely just an interesting thing to...
They're always at war with each other.
And I don't know why.
These NBA guys, it's crazy. Even when they're on an NBA show, all Shaq does is just take a crap on Jokic and anything good that's happened. We're certainly going
to have to talk about this again next week. Just the war between the eras and why that is. We'll also talk next week about this 1v1 tournament. Paul Pierce wanting in a $100,000 1v1 tournament if guys decide to do it. We'll certainly talk about that. I would love to get your thoughts on the text line with that as well. So for JJ LaSelva, thank you again for being in the studio with us. I'm RJ Saunders. We'll talk to you on Wednesday as we fill in for Rick Ballou.